And welcome back to another content. Welcome back to another edition of Yankees Content Central. Um, and we're gonna talk some Yankees and what's been going on since we last spoke, which I believe was Thursday. I'm gonna try and keep it to normally on Tuesdays because this seems to work better for me. So, not a lot has happened in terms of like actual moves that the Yankees have made because they've really done nothing in the past like week. It's more speculation right now. And this is the big one. This is the big ounce of speculation. So, Jeff Passan came out with his report yesterday morning saying that the Yankees and San Diego Padres have been in some discussions for a trade for three-time batting champion Luis Ariz. There's a lot of debate on whether or not Luis Ariz is a fit for the Yankees. I think he is. I think he's a fit. I think he should be. I think the Yankees, if they're serious about getting a leadoff hitter, they have done a lot this offseason of going out and getting the best guys at positions for defense. They have done an A-plus job at that. The sentiment of, let's pepper in the defense, that's what killed us in the World Series. I think that's a great thing. I think that they're at a point now where you need to somehow replace the on-base machine that was Juan Soto in that lineup. That Ariz just makes sense. Now, I was looking at the defensive metrics. His best defensive position looked like it was third base. So that's something where you can like hide him over there. You have everyone else on that infield is strong. You got Volpe over there, who's a very strong defender who can help out over there. You also have late in games, you can have Cabrera come in as a defensive replacement because you're going to have that option off the bench. But more so, if you have a guy like Ariz leading off for the Yankees, that would be fantastic. Just some clips of him leading off, not leading off, but hitting in general. He is a singles hitter. He has like no power. Um, Little interesting, he hit like 4 home runs this past season, but he would have hit 10 if he was at Yankee Stadium. So that's kind of interesting as well. So there would be a little bit more power. He's a lefty, so the porch would help him a little bit. He's going to have like 200 hits or something. He's going to hit for, above 300. He's a pure leadoff hitter. The Yankees do not have a leadoff hitter on the roster right now. No one can lead off. Their leadoff spot has been deplorable. Gleyber Torres was not a good leadoff hitter. He got on base, he took his walks, and he took good at bats. But other than that, Anthony Volpe's not a leadoff hitter. He's not. If we want to sit here, bitch, moan, and complain of what Anthony Volpe's going to look like in year 3, because, God, I don't know what he's going to look like. And I hope he looks good because I like him a lot as a player. But I don't know what to expect of him in year 3. Year 1 was okay. He hit for low average bats and power. Year 2, he hit for below average with no power, hit a lot of singles and doubles. What's year 3 going to look like? Is it because they screwed up his approach in mid-May because they were trying to find a leadoff hitter? Because that's something the front office once again neglected in the offseason? That's totally a thing. So if the Yankee front office could be like, well, we can't neglect the leadoff spot anymore, let's make this trade. Now, Heyman says here, for now, it doesn't look like a fit. Well, there are multiple other reporters besides John Heyman, since this has been tweeted and before this was tweeted, that said that this is wrong. That, yes, it is a fit. Yes, they have been talking. Yes, they're in advanced talks. Now, nothing's particularly close. The reason for that is tomorrow is the arbitration deadline for arbitration eligible players. So players who are ahead of free agency, they negotiate with teams how much they're worth. So the Padres and Ariz's guy, his agent, have to negotiate tomorrow what they think, he's worth. They might say he's worth $5 million for the year. It could be more than that, it could be less than that. Like Trent Grisham's worth $5.5 million for this year, and the Yankees already got that done and out of the way. But once that's done and he negotiates that with the Padres, then the Padres can sit down and call up the Yankees and Brian Cashman and be like, all right, Cash, this is what we're looking at. This is what he's worth. This is what we want for him. And it could be, okay, we got a deal, or no way, click, hang up the phone. Now, this is some random guy from Yankee Twitter, but it's a really good point. Boris, or John Heyman, wants the Yankees attached to Bregman and Kim. Getting Luis Arias doesn't help his cause. Why? Because if you have the Yankees rumored to be talking to Alex Bregman, talking to Ha-Seong Kim, not to be confused with Ha-Seong Kim, who just came off the board and signed with the Dodgers. And I know the original graphic had Gavin Lux, because I didn't think he was going to be traded last night. And then, of course, Jim Bowden and The Athletic had us all confused, saying that they were just going to deal him back to the Yankees, and that was false, because we're just going to spread bullshit at this point, because why not? It's the offseason. Ohtani's on a plane, Judge is going to the Giants, and Lux is coming to the Bronx. Let's throw it all out there. This also came out this morning. This is per Bob Nightingale. He had a lot of stuff, and we're going to talk about with this graphic on what was talked about in the Bob Nightingale report this morning. Pertaining to the Yankees, he said they're not done. They're not done on an infield standpoint, and they're not done on a bullpen standpoint. This is so refreshing to hear that Passan, that Hoke said it on Baseball Night in New York tonight, and a couple of the other guys on there pretty much confirmed it a little bit, that the Yankees are not done. They are not going to just say, you know what, let's go with Oswaldo Cabrera. Let's go with DJ LeMahieu and roll it out, roll the dice, and see what we got by the deadline. That's not the plan. And I like that that's not the plan. And I like that they're being aggressive. And I like that they're trying to win. Because I feel like the one thing that the Yankees have not done well in the past few years is had a productive trade deadline, for the exception of Jazz. They had to make a move like Jazz, or else they weren't getting to the World Series. They probably would not beat Cleveland if you had, Cabrera in that lineup constantly. They wouldn't have. So that's really good that they were able to get Jazz over here. But other than that, their trade deadlines have been very lackluster in the past few years. So it's very refreshing to hear from reliable sources that they're actually getting someone. We don't know who. Another name floated around today was Brendan Rodgers. Not my favorite. Not very good defensively. Not the best offensively. And the offensive numbers are not great at Coors Field. Now, I did see a lot of people like, oh, it's Coors Field. If he can't hit there, he can't hit anywhere. Coors Field is not the easiest place to hit. And StatCast rates it. Let's see what StatCast rates it. But I know it's not like in the top. I don't think it's in the top 5. MLB Stadium hitter friendly. StatCast factors. Okay, so for 2024, it was the highest, actually. So I guess I'm wrong. Wait, bat side, both. Factor venue. Update. Oh, still course. Okay. Yankee Stadium was 18th. Yankee Stadium was 18th. So I stand corrected on that. I guess someone said he's a lefty, right? Brendan Rodgers is a switch hitter, right? I think I saw that. Brendan Rodgers, MLB. I thought I saw that he was a switch hitter. Oh, no, righty. I'm like dead wrong. Polanco was the switch hitter. I've seen like multiple different reports today, and Coors Field is the best hitter's ballpark. So that's something. So that is definitely something to watch for with Brendan Rodgers, is that he doesn't really his numbers last season weren't great. He had a 1.1 WAR, 267 batting average, which isn't bad. And that 267 batting average was in 135 games. So he gave a lot of games 13 home runs, 29 triples, 29 doubles, 1 triple, 134 hits, only 54 RBIs, and only 1 stolen base. So once again, he's clogging up the base paths, and he plays second base. At least with Luis Ariz, you could be like, all right, Luis, you go over there, you play third base. We'll hide you over there. But you're not playing second base. We'll have Jazz play second. With Brendan Rodgers, he's a minus defender, and he's playing second base. You just had bad base running and bad second base and an average. He's Gleyber Torres. Like, his stuff looks like Gleyber Torres-esque. So if you don't want Gleyber Torres, why do you want him? Like, I feel like this whole offseason, the Yankees' pursuit for a middle infielder has been like dragging Gleyber Torres through the dirt. Luis Ariz, his bat is spectacular. His defense is worse than Gleyber. Like, significantly worse than Gleyber at second base. And if the Yankees don't want that, they shouldn't do that. Now, another name that came up a little while ago was Jorge Polanco, most recently on Seattle. Now, he did have a down year. Some think it's due to injury, but who knows? But he did have a down year. I don't think I'm opposed to Jorge Polanco at all. I also think, he's a 10-year vet. He's a switch hitter. He's practicing right now at all infield positions. So this isn't a definitive third base, he experienced at short and second. He was taking reps at first and third. This year he had a higher WAR than Brendan Rodgers did. In 118 games, I did mention he was injured. He had 16 home runs, 45 RBI, 11 doubles, 89 hits. He batted .213, which is his lowest in his career. Once again, yes, he was hurt, but that is the lowest in his career. He had kind of a down year in 22. It looked like he didn't play a lot of games. The past 3 seasons, 22 he played 104, 23 he played 80, and 24 was the worst year of his career, and he only played 118 games. So there's kind of a big risk and a big downside with him. So I don't think I'm on the Polanco train. I think I'm on the Luis Ariz train. I think I've been convinced enough that the hit tool is so good that let's sacrifice the defense and just figure out the starting lineup. The pitching is going to be fine. The pitching is going to win you games. The Yankees are equipped right now to win that 1-0 game, that 2-1 game that you're going to have in May or June. Like that game the Yankees played in, the Little League Classic game against Detroit. The Yankees in 2025 are equipped to win that game. Where in 2024, you have balls getting through the infield, Mark Leiter Jr. and Clay Holmes not pitching well. Excuse me. The Yankees this year are more equipped to win games like that, or games like the one against Kansas City, where Clay blew the save. I know I'm picking Clay Holmes blown saves, but those are games that, the Yankees are going to win because their pitching is very good. But if you could have a guy like Luis Ariz in front of Aaron Judge, or I think it would be in front of either Goldschmidt or Judge. I don't know how the lineup's going to look. It's going to look something like this. The top 3 is probably right. Now, I did see lineups that had Judge and Bellinger flipped. I don't know if the Yankees would do that. Actually, it would make sense, for the Yankees to do that, and I think I would like that. I would not back Goldschmidt up there, and I have the wrong number on this for Goldschmidt, so I apologize. I thought I uploaded the new one. I'll fix that now. I thought I uploaded the new one earlier. He's wearing number 48. They had him on MLB.com for like a week wearing 46. I'm like, there's no way they're unretiring Andy Pettit's number. So thankfully they are not doing that, because I'm like, I don't want them to unretire Andy Pettit's number for Paul Goldschmidt. But that was wrong. So this is the lineup with Goldschmidt's new number and Ariz. So they'd have Arise leading off, either Judge or Bellinger second, the other one third. Stanton batting cleanup, I think, is a certainty for now. I think once Stanton gets hurt inevitably in the season, you're either going to see Jazz batting cleanup, or if Dominguez is really driving them in, they might be like, all right, all right, Jason, you're going to bat cleanup. Or Wells is another cleanup option. I think Wells should not be batting cleanup. I get he thrived and was fantastic in the leadoff spot in his rookie season for the Yankees. I really think you have to let him fester down in the bottom of the lineup. Especially, this is his first year where he's coming into spring. He's coming into spring training, and he knows, all right, the plan's for me to be the everyday catcher. When he came into spring last year, the plan was for Trevino to be the everyday catcher. And then that changed because of an injury, and then we struck gold with Austin Wells. Not only did the pitchers like pitching to him, he called a phenomenal game. A lot of the good games the Yankee pitchers pitched from like June on, he was behind the plate. There were days that, the lineup card would come out in the heat of the summer, and it's like, that month period where the Yankees sucked. And he's batting in the lineup, and I see Wells' name, and I'm like, all right, we're actually going to win today. And we won every game he played behind the plate for like a good stretch for like a month and a half before Trevino got hurt in Baltimore. We won every game that he was behind home plate. And I'm like, the pitchers just like pitching to him. He's also calling good pitches in a good game, and he can throw base runners out. So he's being good defensively, and he's, being something offensively. Whether he's taking a walk, which I would like to see a little bit more of the on-base machine come up, whether he's taking a walk or getting a base hit, or, he's a guy who can hit you 20 home runs if he's getting consistent reps and consistent rest, and they're managing him well. Their catching options last summer, Carlos Narvaez, who's not on the team anymore, they just traded him to Boston, was not the best option for the Yankees. So they ran Wells into the ground. And then, everyone's going to tell me, towards the end of the year, he wasn't good. Towards the end of the year, he got hurt. The Yankees covered that one up and put salt on that wound. And we're like, oh, well, we have no one, so play, have fun. We know your hand's swollen, but you know what? Good luck. And, he fouled the pitch off his hand. I think it was against Kansas City. And, they're like, yeah, good luck. We don't care. We don't give a shit. You know what? As long as we're getting paid and filling the stands, we don't care about your well-being. Wells, go out and catch. And until they gave him that day off in the game 4 of the ALCS, that, Trevino behind the plate, and I'm going to use this as an example of why I think Wells is ready and better equipped. Jose Trevino hadn't caught a game for like a month and hadn't caught Weaver as closer. The one save that he blew, that one where he gave up the home run to Jhonkensy Noel, he gave it up on a pitch he doesn't throw. A pitch that he only threw when Trevino was behind home plate. I don't know if there's something to that, of he's not used to throwing that pitch, and, he was trying to get out of a situation and he gave up a game-tying 2-run home run. That's like, it's like devastating. But you know what? It's life. But I think Wells is going to be fine, but I want him batting lower in the lineup. Volpe needs to be batting ninth. He needs to be batting ninth because you're going to get an inning at some point, probably multiple times, at least 2 or 3 times a week. You're going to get an inning that's 9-1 and 2. You're going to get a 7th inning where you're down by a run against Arizona, let's say. Bold prediction. One of those 3 Arizona games at Yankee Stadium, they're going to get a 7th or 8th inning where it's going to be 9-1 and 2. And the 2 hitter is going to be Judge, or the 3 hitter in that inning is going to be Judge. And they're going to need Volpe and Arise to get on base to get, an RBI opportunity there. Volpe needs to be batting in the bottom of that lineup because he could be a guy down there who's hitting singles and doubles, getting on base, and being a guy that, all right, this is a pesky at-bat at the bottom of the lineup, that a pitcher has to face a pesky at-bat and Anthony Volpe at the bottom of the lineup. Then they have to face one of the peskiest at-bats in all of MLB, Luis Ariz, who never strikes out. I think he struck out like twice last year. Like he went like a solid like 200 at bats without striking out. Like he does not strike out ever. So you're going to go through two pesky at bats, and then you're going to have to pitch to the big boys. And yeah, Bellinger in this Yankee lineup is a big boy. So comment and be like, he sucks. Yeah, you know what? I know what the numbers were, but guess what? In this lineup, in this stadium, he is considered a big boy, and he wants to be here. He's a big boy in my eyes. You're going to have to pitch to the big boys of Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger and Giancarlo Stanton. That's a tough gambit, even for a bullpen. If you got a manager, then, let's say Torey Lovullo, the manager of the Diamondbacks, then trying to win a game earlier in the year and has to then play bullpen roulette to get through Volpe, Ariz, and Bellinger before getting to Judge with guys on. I'm not saying that, they might go down 1, 2, 3. I don't know, but I'm saying those are pesky at bats that, yeah, you know what? Of those three guys, you got a very good shot of at least one, if not multiple, getting on base and causing a ruckus. And then you have to go to a different reliever who, might not be ready to come in and face Judge. What I'm saying is this causes havoc in the lineup. If you have a lineup that's tough and deep, I'm telling you right now, the Volpe at bat late in the game is going to be a tough at bat. He's going to foul off pitches. He's going to be a solid at bat. And the Ariz at bat, no matter where you are in the game, it could be a nothing game in the fifth inning with one man out. That's going to be a very tough at bat because he just fouls pitches off, and he's always a pesky at bat. Yankee fans know it from his days in Minnesota. In 2017 in that wild card game, that he was a pesky at bat in that game, a really pesky, or not the wild card game. That was 17. The ALDS, excuse me. The ALDS. He was a pesky at bat in that series. He was always on base. He had doubles. I don't want to hear that his bat doesn't play at Yankee Stadium because it plays at Yankee Stadium. It played at Yankee Stadium when he was a Marlin. He played at Yankee Stadium. He didn't play at Yankee Stadium as Padre. His bat played at Yankee Stadium when he was a Minnesota Twin because he was always on base. He was constantly on base. It was like you would start the inning, he's already on base. Forget about the at-bat. He's already on. He's a pesky at-bat. I also think he's a guy who would fit well in that clubhouse. He has a relationship with Jazz, which might help. Might help the Jazz relationship in that clubhouse, which I think he's a very highly respected member of that clubhouse. But I also think he's kind of an outcast because it's Jazz Chisholm, and, he likes to run his mouth and say things, which I think is great. I think the Yankee clubhouse needs to do more of that stuff in running mouths and, not making friends and stuff like that. I really think that's a great thing. So I hope. So this is what the current Yankee lineup looks like. I did keep Cabrera out of the lineup, LeMahieu out. I think if they're going with an internal option, unless DJ has a monster spring, which I do not see happening, it's either Cabrera or Peraza, in which either one will play third and would bat last in the lineup. They're pretty dead set, the Yankees, I think, on acquiring an infielder and making Peraza like the backup, which I think is perfect. I don't know what LeMahieu's role is going to be, but I don't think it's going to be much. I think they're going to figure out a way to IL him or ship him off. So the starting rotation still looks the same. Marcus Stroman is actively being shopped. I think he'll be moved. I think he will successfully be moved by spring training. There are two teams that I think will will most likely end up with him. One, the Oakland Athletics. They're looking for pitching. They're looking for some guys. They have Severino, former Yankee. They just put big money towards Brent Rooker today. I see them as a potential fit. I don't know what the Yankees can get back. That might just be an outright salary dump. Two, this is the more likely option, I think. I could see him going to Miami. Now, Miami is in like an all-out panic. They haven't spent like anything this offseason. They've literally spent $0 this offseason, not a penny, which is embarrassing. that is January 7th and you haven't spent a dime in anything. And I think that the baseball owners are starting to get frustrated that they have to, that, Miami's not going to get to that number. I guess they have like a magic number that all the teams should be at. So I think the Yankees can call up and be like, hey, we got Mark Stroman and potentially we got DJ LeMahieu that we need to get rid of. You don't have to give us like your A guys. You don't even have to give us some of your B guys. If you give us a couple of prospects, we'll give them. We'll give them away. I don't think the Yankees will ask for Sandy Alcantara. I don't think there's a place for the Yankees to put Sandy. So I would get that out of Yankee fans' heads now. But I think Marcus Stroman will probably be either a Marlin, an Athletic, or a Rocky by opening day. Now, the Rockies interest me because I would love Ryan McMahon for third. I think he would be perfect for Yankee Stadium. He kind of had not a great year last year. But McMahon would be perfect for third at Yankee Stadium. So the Rockies don't want to deal him. I would keep trying. This is what the Yankee bullpen looks like. Nightingale mentioned they're going after Andrew Chafin. They're also going after Tim Hill, and there was another name mentioned a little while ago that they're going after. Anyways, they're going after lefty relievers. And the reason they're going after lefty relievers is because the Yankees need one lefty in that bullpen. They don't have one. They have no lefty relievers on the 40-man roster. So the Yankees need to start doing more. They need to start doing more in terms of moving guys, signing guys for the lefty relievers in the bullpen. They also need to get that. They need to get draft. They need to draft guys. They need to draft guys that can play lefty relievers for the Yankees. I forget who this was, but I'm trying to find the tweet right now. This is so weird looking at a little off topic. Verlander in a Giants uniform. Oh, the Pirates are apparently trying to sign Alex Verdugo. Nothing official yet, but apparently they're trying to sign Alex Verdugo. That's weird. Oh, okay. Carlos Estevez. The Yankees are interested in. That's per John Heyman and Hector Gomez. Not the most reliable sources, but Heyman said there's 8 teams. Gomez named the Yankees as one of them. Take that with a grain of salt because it's Hector Gomez. I'm probably more credible than him, and I have 0 sources. I just report things. I just sit here and regurgitate things. I don't post things. Anyways, this is what the Yankee bullpen looks like, and this is not what the Yankee bullpen looks like. I already did this because Mark Leiter Jr. is not on it. I took off Scott Efros and put in Mark Leiter Jr. I apologize. For whatever reason, my graphics have been awful this stream. But this is what the Yankee bullpen actually looks like right now. With Ian Hamilton, Jay Cousins, Mark Leiter Jr., Clayton Beater, Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, Fernando Cruz, and Jonathan Loaisiga. Loaisiga will not be ready till late April, early May, so Scott Efros might slide up there. Scott could also find a more permanent spot if an Ian Hamilton isn't healthy, or Ian Hamilton isn't good, or something like that. Mark Leiter Jr., I think, is going to be just fine this year. From the glimpse we saw of him in the postseason, he was very good for the Yankees in the postseason, stepped up in a big spot and executed. He was good. So, yes, I think Mark Leiter Jr. is going to be better. And now that he's had, a whole offseason to work with Matt Blake and the coaches on, technique and routine and all that sort of stuff, I think he's going to be just fine. Jim Bowden of The Athletic thinks that the Yankees and the Padres are in the best position to sign Roki Sasaki. I don't have that as a graphic, because I think it's bullshit. I think it's a foregone conclusion. He's going to the Dodgers. I think he was going to the Dodgers before it was posted. I think he was going to the Dodgers when he was conceived. I think he was going to the Dodgers when he first picked up a baseball. He was always going to the Dodgers. Now that could change. Obviously, he could sign with the Padres or the Yankees or some other random team, and I could be like, whoa. I think he's probably going to the Dodgers, and that pisses me off because they seem to get everyone, and then they don't have places for good players. Like Gavin Lux would have been like the dream for the Yankees, in my opinion, because now they don't have places for good players. They just drafted like a number one top prospect catcher because they don't have enough room for players because they just sign everyone under the sun. Get ready for the lockout ahead of the 26th season. I don't know why people aren't talking about it, but the CBA needs to negotiate a new agreement, and the owners want a salary cap and salary floor because they're sick of this. That the Dodgers, and I'll be fair, the Yankees and the Mets have all this money to spend, therefore players go there. I'll be honest, I know the Yankees do it. I'm not blind. I'm not an idiot. Do they spend like they did when George was alive? No. Do they overspend? I don't think so. But they are in more of a financial situation where they can spend money than a team like the Baltimore Orioles, even though they can stand to spend money. Speaking of teams in the AL East with spending money, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s name popped up in this Nightingale report, which is kind of what I wanted to get to with the AL East portion of this conversation. Number one, the O signed Charlie Morton. Judge owns them, so that's good for the Yankees. They are apparently done in the rotation, someone said. Then there were rumors with Luis Castillo or possibly trading for Dylan Cease. That would also be a trade for Castillo, but that's interesting. That's interesting that some are saying they're done, some are saying no, they're not. From a baseball perspective, I hope they're not done. From a Yankee perspective, I hope to God they're done. I hope to God that this is the roster they're throwing out there on opening day. It's going to bring me back to like the 18, 19 Orioles that were like poop. But Vlad, if they don't reach an agreement by the beginning of spring training, him and the Blue Jays, which they're $100 million apart, then he's going to walk. And he's not going back to Toronto. Bo Bichette already said, I'm not coming back. Like, if Toronto's smart, they would trade him. If the Yankees are smart, they would call up the Blue Jays and be like, hey, what do you want for Bo Bichette? We are in need of a middle infielder. I would keep Jazz at third. I know Yankees want to move him to second. I would keep Jazz at third if it means getting a guy like Bo Bichette. I know he had a terrible second half. He's also good friends with Austin Wells. But I would consider getting a Bo Bichette. I think the Yankees are kind of not at all like in consideration for Vlad. Apparently, it's Boston. That if Boston makes the right offer, which might not be the highest, he's going there. So I think that's in the next offseason. I don't think that the Blue Jays are trading Vlad. To my knowledge, I know I've seen, the Blue Jays should just trade him. I don't think they will. I really don't think the Blue Jays are in the place right now and have the bandwidth to trade Vlad. The reason for that is no one wants to go there to begin with. Why are you going to get rid of your best player? They should, and Chris Rose on Baseball Today yesterday actually probably said it best. They should just blow the shit up. His direct words, blow the shit up. Trade Bo, trade Vlad, get prospects back, don't sign anyone, just blow it up. Like full throttle, like Hiroshima, blow it up. Full throttle. That's what they need to do. You know what? That's going to help the Yankees in the AL East, so I hope that. Now, if they trade Vlad, apparently that the Mets are the favorite to trade for him. I don't know where they're getting that. I don't think the Mets are going to give up that many prospects to go get Vlad. The talk is that if they were to trade Vlad Guerrero Jr., the prospect intake would be more than what the Yankees set for Soto. The reason for that is number one, Preller and Cashman actually work very well together. They were able to offload Stroman's deal, not Stroman, Trent Grisham's deal on the Yankees. So that kind of helped AJ Preller and the Yankees to not give up as much prospect capital. And number two, while the Padres were trying to trade Soto, the Yankees to shed prospect cap, to shred money, they were also trying to compete. They were real close there, and they had a legitimate shot at the division if they really wanted it. And they were like a couple of big plays away from being the Dodgers, like the Yankees were. The Yankees were legitimately 2 pitches away from being the Dodgers in that World Series, and that's not an impossible thing to say. So anyone who thinks that the Dodgers are this like almighty, all-powerful team, they're really not. Calm down. They're going to get hurt, and they're going to get back to the postseason. They're going to be favorites for the World Series. But they're also, they were a play away from losing it, and they know it. They were a pitch away where if Tim Hill's brought in, Tim Hill doesn't give up that grand slam. He probably gets a ground ball to second. And the reason Tim Hill wasn't brought in was because he would get a ground ball to second, and Glaber probably wouldn't glove it. That's why. And Andy Martino said that last week on SNY, that's the reason he wasn't brought in that scenario. So right now, I think they're at a perfect position in terms of bullpen. Well, they need bullpen. In terms of starting pitching. Now, what gets me is that Boston's favorites now to get Vlad Guerrero Jr. in free agency, which could screw the Yankees up in the AL East again, because obviously he's a tough at bat. He's tough, and he's always killed the Yankees as long as he's been up. But he's not a free agent yet. But if he does get traded, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. But Brendan Rodgers, Andrew Chafin, Jorge Polanco, and obviously Luis Arraez is, I think, the most logical option for the Yankees right now is Arraez. But we will certainly see in the coming weeks. I think Arraez is the Yankee by the end of next week. So thank you for watching.